Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. Defining discipline is a lifestyle, a mentality, and a brand. And within this podcast, we're going to focus on self-improvement as you follow along with me on my journey. We'll also hear from special guests of all walks of life on this podcast and their remarkable journeys that led them to where they are today. Today is day 48. At the beginning of the year, I challenged myself to run 365 days out of the year this year and to run 1,250 miles. Last year being my first year of running in 2020, I was able to run about 176 days out of the year, and I was able to hit 1,000 miles, as well as running my first unofficially timed marathon at 5 hours and 30 minutes. So this year I really wanted to step it up, so I challenged myself to run every day of the year, and I also challenged myself to run 250 miles more than the 1,000 that I ran last year. I also challenged myself to run my first ever 50K trail race in June, and I'm also running an actual officially timed marathon in October at the Detroit Free Press Marathon downtown. That being said, today I put in 3.6 miles. That put me at a total of 182.2 for the year. In last month, realizing after doing this that I'm going to have to average out at least 100 miles per month to hit my yearly goal this year, I decided that I'm going to do a 100-mile challenge every month and have every month have a fundraiser for that challenge. For the month of February, my fundraiser is for the Detroit Black Community Food Security Network. And what they do is they work to build self-reliance, food security, and justice in Detroit's Black community by influencing public policy, engaging in urban agriculture, promoting healthy eating, encouraging cooperative buying, and directing youth towards careers in food-related fields. This podcast being about exercise and trying to live a healthy lifestyle, not only by exercising, but also maybe a healthy diet and stuff. I thought this would be a perfect fundraiser to donate, to raise money for. So if you guys can, please donate to this. It's also a local fundraiser for me, at least. I'm from the Detroit area, so it'd be helping out people locally around this area, which is awesome. The fundraiser is through my Facebook, my personal page. All donations directly go to this fundraiser. Nothing goes to me or nothing goes to Facebook, which is really cool that this cause is going to be able to collect all the money. It is running, I think, until March 9th or 10th going on. So if you can't make a donation right now, no big deal. If you can't even afford to make a donation, still no big deal. But please at least share this fundraiser so other people might be able to hear about it and might be able to donate. That being said as well, for the month, I am at 72.2 miles. So not too far from hitting the year. And let's see where else I'm at. For the week, my mileage is at 8.8. That being said, I also challenged myself at the beginning of the month on February 2nd to do 33 days straight of doing 33 push-ups and 33 sit-ups every single day while maintaining 33 mileage running per week. So this is going into my third week, and this week I'm at 8.8. I was on day 16 of my push-ups and sit-ups today. I got those done. I will add them to the end of this video so you'll be able to visualize them. If you're just listening along on the podcast, you won't be able to visualize them. I'm not going to add them to the audio. You don't want to hear the grunts and stuff. So if you want to see them, you're going to have to watch the YouTube video. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. And we can kind of just get into today's episode. I just want to double check on this because for some reason I thought yesterday I was at 72 point. Yeah, all right. So I take that back. It finally updated. I'm at 75.9 for the month. For some reason the month didn't update, but the year and the week were updated. So for the month I am at 75.9. I only got 24.1 left to go. I'm gonna knock that out easily within this week. Doing the 33 miles per week, that'll be done. So I'll probably end around 130 miles for the month of February. Well, that's probably right around there. That being said, though, guys, let's get into today's episode. I had nothing written about this, so this is going to be all off cuff, but it's something that I think about occasionally. It's something I've kind of touched on to in previous episodes, not necessarily the exact theme, but some things about it. I'm going to kind of tie those into today's episode. So that being said, let's get right into it. Today is day 48, and the theme for today is prosperous. I first want to start with the actual definition of prosperous. So if you look that up in the dictionary, it is going to say successful in material terms, flourishing financially, or bringing wealth and success. So that's a good definition. But, I think that definition doesn't really define it whole to the best way to define it, I guess you could say. Yes, people that are prosperous, they are successful with material things, and they are flourishing financially. But that always, just because that is the case of prosperous people, that always doesn't make them the most prosperous within relationships or prosperous within unmaterialistic things, like things that actually have some merit and some meaning behind them, not just something that, is worth something that can just get tossed away and tossed aside with no actual emotional value to it. So, while being prosperous is something that I feel like everyone aims for, and it is a good goal to try to achieve, it kind of, a lot of people get lost in the thought of having that they forget that, a lot of people that do have it, yes, while they are successful in those ways, a lot of them do suffer from, crazier things than us poor people suffer from. Like, yes, we have depression and we're worried about what we can eat and stuff, but I mean, they're the stories that you always hear of, like the people that are like, eating glue and are addicted to all these crazy things, and that they have some really bad problems because they're on a different emotional level, where I feel like maybe they are so successful and so prosperous in material terms that they are trying to grasp at anything to feel meaning and relevance, and they get into some crazy things like, like I just said, huffing glue, or eating weird things, or you always watch the Weird Habit show or whatever, and it's always someone that's cracked out on, they have lots of money, but they're just so unhappy with their lives that they need to get, they're searching for something, they're searching for some kind of drug to get them high. And for the longest time, I'm very materialistic. I am a hoarder. I keep a lot of things that I have no value to anyone besides me in my head. So I get the idea of wanting to be prosperous and to be able to have the money and ability to do whatever you want whenever you want. But I think the good thing is limitations, and that's something that a lot of prosperous people don't have, is limitations. So you see that, and when you lack limitations, you start going off the deep end, trying to find those limitations. So talking about the word prosperous and its actual definition, like I said to begin with, I think it's missing something, and it is missing that emotional element. Like, people can be prosperous with relationships, and prosperous with those emotional things that have emotional value. Maybe someone doesn't have lots of money, don't have a lot of materialist things, but they are prosperous with the company that they keep. And maybe you hear of it all the time, is some of the people that have nothing, no, barely any rights, and they're starving in some third world country, and you know bombs are going off all around them. But if you ask them, they're prosperous because they have their family, and they don't take everything for granted. And that is their version of prosperous. It isn't, being able to own the next biggest iPhone, or to be able to afford a big house. They're prosperous. They're looking for prosperity in just the company they keep and the people that they surround themselves with, and they're grateful for what they have, and they find the success and the flourishing within that. They don't find it within things that you can just buy and just get rid of, that you can't take with you when you die. Who knows if you can take memories with you when you die? We'll find that out. But there's definitely more value to and more weight to relationships and things like that than it is to being so prosperous that you can just buy whatever you want. You can get to the point where you're so prosperous and you're like, well, I can just, I won't be lonely because I can just have all these friends. But they're not really your friends because they're there for your money, or you don't really fall in love with someone because they're just there for your money. And you're always questioning yourself when you're so prosperous that all these things are coming down to you. So I think there is a happy medium. I think, I've had a lot of thought about this, of wanting to, while growing up, always wanting to be famous, and try to be a musician and a famous songwriter, and to want all these things. And then as the older I got, and the more I thought about stuff, and then I realized it's like I kind of don't want that. I'd rather have a private life, and a life where it's not so flashy, and it's not, where I'm not careless about everything, where everything doesn't just get tossed my way and then I throw a temper tantrum because I don't get it. I realize that the relationships I hold with the people that mean the most to me is worth more than any materialistic thing that I can buy or own or get. And well, yes, sometimes materialistic things make me feel better. And like I said, I am very materialistic. I own way too many things, too many gadgets. Some of the stuff I don't even use, and I'm too, selfish to give it away. Whatever the case is, I just realize that I'm at my happiest, and I value my time more, and my life more, when I'm prospering with those people around me, and we're spending that time together, and it's not just about, playing on my phone or whatever the case is. So I think my whole message behind this is, in order to prosper, you don't necessarily have to be flourishing financially. And if you are flourishing financially, more power to you. And I'm not saying that there's something wrong with that. But, maybe if you are flourishing financially, that maybe you do feel like there's still something missing. And it's that prosperity that you get with real intimate, real relationships, not some fake relationship because you're this person who's famous, and they'll never tell you what they really think because you're famous, and they're just going to tell you whatever you want to hear because you're famous and you got money. And so, like, whatever the case is being, whatever part of the spectrum you fall on, you got to learn how to prosper, and how to balance that prosperity, and how to, not just rely on, or just think that money and having financial stability is going to solve all your problems, when it can, just because you're financially stable doesn't mean that you're emotionally stable, or that your the family life stable, or that all the other problems within your life are going to go away. And yes, I get that maybe being financially stable won't help those other problems, but it is another burden off your back. I get that, and that is something to always strive for. But I think the main message here is not to lose yourself in materialistic things, because we take the actual valued things in our lives for granted when we focus on materialistic things. And I think the most prosperous people within this world are the people who realize that. And I'm hoping that I can realize that more in certain situations. It's something I've realized, but it's something that, again, I'm going to have to work on constantly. It's not something, these things I talk about every day aren't some things you just do once and then your problem solved. These are things to consistently work on day in and day out, and trying to be that best version of yourself. And to prosper is something that I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to find that balance of being financially stable and being financially successful and flourishing, while also holding value to the things that actually matter to me in the world, and not losing sight of the things that I hold close to my heart. That being said, guys, I don't want to keep you too much longer. Like I said at the end of this episode, I'm going to throw the push-ups and sit-ups from the God Bod Challenge, 33-day challenge. Today is day 16 of that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. 48 days in, we got a couple hundred more to go. Every day is a journey. I'll definitely say that. Some days are easier than others. Today I got out there, didn't want to run. It was super snowy, super deep. Didn't want to get out there, but I got out there. I got to the point where I could have turned and then made it a 1.5 miler, or I could have turned the other way and made it a 5K, a 3.6er. And I said, you know what? Tomorrow it's going to snow again, and I got to get these miles in. I'm a little sore today, but screw it. Let's add the other 1.5 in so I don't got to worry about it tomorrow. So I added that in. I got 3.6 in today in the crappy snow. You'll see the pictures. It is what it is. It's February in Michigan, so I can't be expecting to go out there and have just perfect sidewalks, basically. Just, perfectly uncovered sidewalks with salt or whatever the case may be. It's not going to happen. I don't live in a nice state where that's going to happen. And right now the snow is so built up that it's literally higher than me. There's some snow banks that I had to jump over, and some I fell over. I got a video of me trying to jump over one and catching and almost falling over it, but it is what it is. It's been a journey. It's been fun. I don't plan on quitting. I plan on keeping it going. These episodes have been fun, trying to talk and communicate and just be better at this kind of thing. It's been a journey and it's been fun. That being said, though, guys, every week I leave you with your daily discipline, and you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys guessed what this week's daily discipline is. It is to prosper, and not just materialistically or financially prosper, but to prosper in those relationships in your life that you hold dear to you, because nothing lasts forever. So make sure you don't take those for granted, and try to strengthen that bond and strengthen those relationships and strengthen those things that mean the most to you, and to not lose sight of your your financial goals, or to not lose sight of some materialistic things that you may hold dear to you. We're human. We're all going to be guilty of that, but the main thing is to just try to make sure that you prosper and you bring those relationships together, and you keep them together, and you value the things that we've been taking for granted for so long. And understand that those are sometimes worth so much more than materialistic and just financially, those things are better for your mentality in the long run than being financially stable sometimes. So just think about that. Try to prosper in your life, like I said, financially, and as well spiritually and emotionally, with the relationships and those things that you hold close to your heart. So thank you guys so much. If you can, please give this podcast a like, a listen, and a subscribe. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all podcast streaming platforms. This is the Defining Discipline podcast. This was episode 48. I will see you guys tomorrow for episode 49. So make sure you guys stay disciplined. Peace out, and I'll see you tomorrow. February 17th. 2021, day 16 of the God Bod Challenge, push-ups and sit-ups before my run. Finished for the day.